This video will showcase two effects of botanical candles. The first effect involves coating all plants in wax, aiming to achieve a smooth surface without air bubbles. The second type involves exposing half of the plant, aiming for a natural and even appearance. In order to burn more safely and cleanly, the wax used for the outer shell and the inner part is different. The wax formula for the outer shell is 68 degrees Celsius or 64 degrees Celsius melting point paraffin wax, 5% hard microcrystalline wax, and 1% paraffin wax Additive AC6. Hard micro wax is to raise the melting point, hardness, and glossiness of the outer shell, making the shape of the outer shell more stable. Additionally, it enhances the resilience of the outer shell. The heat won't deform the shell, and the shell can still be preserved after burning. If hard micro wax is not available, 10% of stearic acid can temporarily replace it, but the glossiness and resilience of the hard micro wax are much better than stearic acid. The function of paraffin wax Additive AC6 is to remove natural effects of paraffin wax, such as air bubbles and white frost, further improving the hardness and glossiness of the outer shell. After creating the outer shell, container soil wax can be poured into them. The melting point of container soil wax is between 48 degrees Celsius and 52 degrees Celsius. In order to differentiate the melting point from the outer shell, please don't mix other wax materials such as white beeswax into container soil wax. Just use 100% container soil wax. Melt the wax formula for the outer shell over medium heat. A hollow candle mold is required, composed of a hollow silicone part and an outer acrylic shell. Note that the side of the mold currently facing us is the bottom of the candle. Pay attention to the up and down positions when placing the dry plants. If you're drying plants yourself, ensure they're completely dry before use. Place them in the mold as you like. Pour the wax into the mold at 110 degrees Celsius. If the room temperature is below 15 degrees Celsius, increase the pouring temperature to 120 degrees Celsius. Please don't exceed 120 degrees Celsius, otherwise the dry plants will be scorched. If you want to create the effect of partially exposed dry flowers, simply set the candle aside and wait for it to solidify. For a design where the dry plants are completely encased in wax, immediately check for any air bubbles after pouring the wax. If any air bubbles or if the bubbles are trapped by the dry plants, use a stick to help them raise to a wet surface. If the candle starts solidifying from the bottom, use a heat gun to blow melting from the outside. You may manually remove air bubbles with a stick, as long as the wax is still in a liquid state. After removing the bubbles, wait for it to solidify. Like other paraffin wax candle, it's normal for a bottom to appear uneven or have shrinkage holes. Before demolding, use a heat gun to blow melting the surface and then refill with wax. Demold the candle by first removing the silicone part. Then squeeze the mold to separate the candle and the mold as much as possible. Although the acrylic part may appear to be a straight cylindrical shape, it actually has one end larger than the opposite. Push the candle out from the larger end. You can see that the outer shell is smooth and bubble-free by manual bubble removal. For the second type, half of the plants being exposed, an additional step is required after demolding. Use a silicone part of the mold to support the outer shell. You may place a sheet of baking parchment or unwanted paper underneath for easy cleaning. Use a heat gun to melt the outer shell in a circular motion, exposing the dry plants. Avoid focusing the heat on one spot for too long. Occasionally rotate the candle to ensure even heating. Once you achieve the desired effect, stop heating. Trim the bottom with a small craft knife. For burning safely and preserving the shell as much as possible, there will be one more step. It's very simple. Melt a little paraffin wax AC6, and when it's in a liquid state, pour a little into shell. Roll it so that the inside of the shell is coated with a layer of AC6. A small amount of AC6 sets quickly. You may pour and roll it in multiple times. Finally, infill the container solvents. Stick a pre-tapped and pre-wet wick in the center of the bottom of the shell. Choose the correct wick size according to your diameter to be burned. The size of the wick should be based on the data provided by your wick supplier. When the wet is at 60 degrees Celsius, add 8% candle flame oil. Stir for about 10 seconds. And then pour it into the shell. Secure the wick and wait for it to solidify.